Dancing is forbidden. Dancing is forbidden. Dancing is forbidden.
Good time zone, sweet world. It is Friday, August 8th, 2025. Hello, welcome into another edition of the Nightmare Show that is this Twitch stream. Hi, my name is Anch. I am almost a CPA. That is the news of the day. I have passed final examinations in for CPA Canada. Days 1, 2, and 3. And I'm extremely thankful and grateful that that has happened. It was not a straightforward process. It is, I'm not done. I still have work experience that I have to get before I can even get licensed, but this is a major milestone to have reached. And it has been 5 years in the making. And will likely be 6 years before it's over with. And it's crazy to think about because I think about how long it took to get here, how long it took before that to get to where I got to. I can break it up in like 8-year chunks. It took me 8 years to get through a bachelor's, 8 years to get through a bachelor's and a master's. And then kind of, 6 years. It took me 6 years to get through a bachelor's and a master's. And then there was like 2 years of trying to find a job, I think, is basically what it was like. Something like that. And then, 8 years actually starting a career. And then somewhere in between that as well, overlapping that, spending 5 years because of COVID, trying to do an accountancy. Man. Anyway, so, and we'll see, what does that mean? Where are we going from here? I don't know. I think at the core of it, I've always wanted to work in video games. That is the whole reason why this channel exists. That's the core of this channel, is to explore video games, learn about video games. And I feel like I had fallen off of that, a little bit in terms of doing other stuff, or like focusing on different goals that were not core to what the channel's about and what I'm about. And so anyway, looking forward to bringing it back to video games. And to think about how, now that I'm almost around the corner in terms of accountancy, how can I then bring that to video games? And this is a longer term thing, right? This is, I don't think it's going to happen in a year, 2 years, but maybe 4 years, 4 or 5 years, maybe. Something, I might be able to do something. And that's what I'm now thinking about, So of course, like, I'm hugely relieved, but also pensive and thinking about where does this go next, and where can I go next? In due course. No, I'm not going to make any major changes just yet. One of the things that I've been thinking about is to get into game design. When I started this channel, I had a fascination with journalists and game journalists, and clearly there are some of them that I'm emulating. Right? There's like, you take bits and pieces from different people and different concepts. But having tried it and looking back at it, I don't know that this is that, like, a journalism type of thing is really what I'm interested in doing. Certainly not as a profession or a career or anything like that. Because I think if you're gonna wade into those waters, you almost like really need to be full-time in it, because that's just where you'll get the a level of quality that is worthwhile in a place where, you know, they're struggling to provide quality coverage and breadth of coverage anyway. You know, it's not really helpful to, you know, add like a little bit of not well thought out material, you know. I don't know. And everybody has a Patreon, and everybody has a this and a that and the other. And getting caught up in that kind of a race is not really appealing to me, you know. You end up doing and thinking about things that aren't about video games. So, you know. And so it's in that kind of spirit that I've been looking into game design. I have this I don't know if the wide angle captures it. Actually, it does. On the door that's just back over there, there is a poster that hangs there. That is the back of it, but in the front of it, it's a, you know, a magazine ad for the Vancouver Film School, for their different programs that they have for either writing, video game design, video game development, and whatever else. There's a couple of other programs on that flyer, and I had seen that poster 3 or 4 years ago or something. Maybe not that long. Maybe 2 years ago. Let's say like a year to two, or between a year and 2 years. And when I saw that in the magazine, I cut it out and I took some magnets and I stuck it up there in that on the overhang of that door, just so that I, you know, every time I walk into this room, I have to look up and kind of, you know, duck underneath that thing and walk into the room. And it just reminds me that, hey, once you're done with accounting, what are you doing next? And how are you going to get into video games, man? How are you going to do it? And I've thought about it and talked about before about how I'd like to, you know, work at a studio, make a video game. I don't know if I've come out explicitly and said it, but yeah, that's, I think, like, more and more I'm thinking that's really what I would like to do. I would like to be in a position to make games or support the making of games in, you know, a well-rounded way that I think I can do. I think I can do that. I think I would be well placed to do that. There's other ways how I could get involved, but a little bit less interesting. You know, for example, all these consulting firms, your big consulting firms, they have people that do advisory services and all this kind of stuff. And so I could cold call people, email people, reach out, try to find a job in one of those places as a CPA, specifically looking towards, you know, advising video game company clients, and then, you know, using those network connections then to launch into video games. It's a pathway. It could work, but doesn't seem as interesting. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. For now, I think I'm going to do like Coursera courses in the meanwhile, when I find time. Probably on Sundays. That's kind of how I view it. And we'll see where it goes. But that's anyway. So normally we do Pikachu. What's it called? Pikachu Yellow. That's what I've been trying to get through, but I just want to get through some WoW today because a new patch has dropped, and our World of Warcraft guild will be raiding, and so I just want to make sure that I get a character ready. We'll come back to Pikachu Yellow next week at some point. And then, yeah, after that, we'll get back into Blueprints. I have struggled quite a bit to get that game to work optimally. There is always, I think I've basically reached the point to realize that on my system, there is always going to be some sort of judder or stutter issue with the game. I had thought I resolved it. It was like a fluke or something. I don't know. We'll see when we get in there, but I think I was seeming to have some sort of success running it at 60 FPS. But I just remember like maybe once every 12 seconds it would just stutter at some point. And certain parts of the game are different than so it seems like less stuttering happens indoors, but more stuttering happens outdoors. When you're outdoors, I guess there's like a lot more to look at, a lot more for it to handle. Birds flying around and audio stuff going on and all kinds of different stuff. So maybe that could be it. I'm not sure. And if it's system side, well, boy, I mean, anyway, if there's one, if I'm going to be thankful about it for something, then I'll be thankful that it made me really take a look at, hey, how can I optimize this computer even further to squeeze out as much as I can? And that involved going to the registry editor and changing some settings that I had in there for registry editor, including like system responsiveness registry key. By default holds 20% of CPU for background processes, or like up to, I guess, is my understanding of it. I could easily be wrong on that, but I think essentially by setting it to 0, you give the foreground applications maximum use of CPU, and background processes still get processed, but they get processed in a queue slower, I guess, is how that works. So far, so good. It's pretty stable. I haven't had any untoward crashes, so that's been good. A bunch of other registry tweaks. I basically looked up one of those highly rated or highly viewed videos on this kind of stuff, and debloating Windows as well. There's a debloat tool that uses Windows 11 debloat tool. Pretty good stuff to do. Really helps speed things up. But yeah, anyway, hey, why don't we get started here? Normally, every time we start this, we usually dive into the news. So let's take a look there's an alarm at 6 p.m. Let's take a look at the news. And we'll go here, and I need to throw a screen up probably. Actually, it's fine. I'll just where's my camera? Camera is here. Let's move that over. Hey, all right. Sitting in the corner. Yeah, might as well. Oh boy. So I did a cooking impromptu cooking stream yesterday, and I definitely cut myself quite badly. The bleeding would not stop. I also need to turn lights on here. Forgot about that. I'm not a pro streamer, turns out. Of course I'm not. What are you talking about? All right, that's better. Yeah, I don't know. You can see. Oop, is that going to focus? Yeah. Anyway, it's a nice little gash there. And it's like every time I throw up this green screen, it seems to do something else in terms of the similarity or whatever. That's so annoying. Let's try to fix that. So to do that, I go click on the thing, click on the filter, and I've noticed another issue, but I'll try to take care of this one first. Why is it flickering like that? Because it doesn't seem like it should be. That's worse. Does it need to come down even further? Why is it coming down so much in similarity? That's so weird. It's never been like that before. Oh my goodness, okay. But I would expect more green to show up now. Yeah, so more green is showing up as I do that. Which sucks. I think the solution has typically been more light. If you flood yourself with light, then you can kind of get around this. Man. All right, let's... I know I've changed the warmth of the color, but I haven't changed... All right, well, let's see it. God, all right. As usual, there's always something that goes wrong. Trying to get the controls for my light here, which is on the PC, unfortunately. I would much prefer it to be on the light itself, so you could just get up there and adjust it, but Oh, weird. Yeah, no, the software is not here anymore. Huh. I didn't uninstall it. Okay, well, I can't change the color of that light then. I'll have to do that later. That's very strange. Like I said, always something, huh? Okay. All right. Fine. Good enough for now. I can go ahead and... Oops. That's the wrong direction. Whoa. That makes me just all gray. Okay. Go with that. And let me just crop this as well. Always battling the crop. It's always an issue as well. So terrible. All right. Okay. Finally, I'm also going to add a stream marker so that I know where to cut. If I decide to go actually process this, which to be determined. It's a lot of work for no real reason. I don't know. I don't mind recording. Like keeping kind of like an archive, I guess, is the idea. Keeping a portfolio of stuff is the idea. Okay, good. So Battlefield 6 open beta is already dealing with cheaters. Fizzint, right. Fizzint is in conceptual stage. Okay. Diablo boss departs Blizzard. Fine. What's this then? Fine. Game mode stuff. You know what? Maybe I should move off of GameSpot. Otherwise, my whole thing is going to be flooded by GameSpot. Let's go one by one. Stormgate? Stormgate. Yes. Frost Giant Studios. Okay, so this is X-Blizzard developers bet it all on Storm Rage Redemption Story. Frost Giant Studios set to make a successor to StarCraft 2, but the road has been difficult so far. So, I remember hearing about this a long time ago. It's been a long, rocky road for Frost Giant. Tim Morton and Tim Campbell founded the studio. Oh, I see. So they had, okay. I didn't even realize that this was out on early access. But I guess it's not anymore after negative feedback. I had completely missed that. Somehow I missed that entire beat. Opening up Steam just to see if I can find it. I remember some controversy around this, actually, now that I think about it. It brought up the whole discussion of like what, who should or should not use early access, and how accepting are we of early access in general. I remember that now. Stuff slowly it's coming back. I think, in general, yeah, I don't know. It's so nuanced that it's hard to even form like a one statement on it. Oh man, I mean, I think in general, I'm okay with it, as long as you're getting delivered something that is most of the way there, and really the early access is being used as a way to continue, make sure that you don't fall on a funding cliff. So that you would, if we don't put this out in early access, we're going to have to cancel this thing because we're going to run out of money. Or if you're really trying to use early access to say, we've got an early build, and we want player feedback to inform how this game should be developed further. I think those are the kind of couple of ways there that I'm comfortable with it. But when you already have $40 million over the past 5 years from venture capital, crowdfunding, foreign partners, venture debt. They had fake Steam reviews. Great. Yeah. So this is, yeah. Yeah, it's totally there. I totally didn't realize I missed out on that. Jeez. Anyway, so it's leaving early access, is it? With a 1.0 release, including single player, level editor, robust multiplayer. They've overhauled Stormgate's art, revised much of the game's content. Okay, cool. Multiplayer free to play. Multiplayer is free to play. But the campaign costs money. Yo, imagine, Ima. Hi. Thank you. Thanks for the congrats. Appreciate it. But will it be enough to get the studio to profitability? So far, the numbers have not looked good. And that's not good. Generative AI is used in Stormgate to animate portraits of characters. Okay. That's weird. It's a feature that we weren't going to be able to have unless we used it to get there. Oh boy. Okay. I mean, look, like the thing is that I don't know. I think with the player base and just enthusiast gamers and vocal gamers that are so dead set against it, particularly coming from the artistic or art form point of view, then that's a real risk to take to use it in this kind of a way. I don't think that's smart, even if you're saying that you can't do it without it. I think you would be better off trying to, if you were going to use generative AI technologies, you'd be better off using it in a way to enhance internal tools rather than directly trying to implement some sort of animation from it. Okay. So the goal is to reach a level of revenue that covers our costs, that we can keep building the game. We're very cost efficient at this point, but our goal absolutely is to have enough revenue to support our ongoing development operations. Okay, so this is very, I mean, at least what they're communicating is that this kind of, they're now at the point where, I don't know. Never mind. That doesn't even make any sense. I don't know what the statement is. I don't even know why you would make this statement. Honestly, I think if you were to make this statement and say, therefore, we are launching into early access, I could understand that. I would be like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. But to yeah, I guess the point is that they're coming out of early access maybe a bit earlier than they want to. I guess that's what's going on here. Is to say, just call it 1.0, say that's it. We gotta go now, so that we can actually open this up to potential more buyers that would only look at quote unquote completed games as opposed to early access. I suppose that's what it is. And then we'll also throw behind whatever marketing and all this kind of stuff to say, hey, this thing's ready. It's ready to go. Please buy this game. Okay. That's a shame. That's a shame for them that it's not that it's all mixed, and seemingly not from anything to do with the game itself. Nothing. Nothing in this article is pointing towards any issues in gameplay or anything like that. I might have to try this game at some point. I don't know. I hope there's a demo somewhere. I would rather try a demo first. And because RTS, I'm not big into RTS anyway. Or am I good at RTS? I think that's the bigger issue, is that I'm not quite good at real-time strategy games, and so I tend to avoid them. And so I just don't have the kind of actions per minute, multi-threaded brain that you need to have to manage multiple things at the same time. I find that very difficult. And quickly, I mean, forget about it. But okay, interesting. So we'll see where that goes. Stormgate. I'm going to wishlist it though. If nothing else, I'll have it there to remind myself that hey, I need to go check this thing out. I mean, they're saying it's free to play though, but they're also saying what a campaign costs money, and in those things, like I don't care about, like StarCraft. Having, whenever I would go through StarCraft, I wouldn't care about multiplayer. I mean, there's like a couple of games that I'd play with people in school growing up and stuff, and you join a game, you'd get muta rushed, and then they just kind of laugh at you, and I'd be like, okay, well, I guess I'm not playing StarCraft anymore. Like, what the fuck was that? And so I would just care about the campaign more than anything else, because wouldn't get my ass handed to me basically, and wouldn't be pressured into learning how to do high actions per minute on various fronts. Anyway, so that's interesting. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's see here. Some development turmoil behind Bioshock. Huh. Okay. Fourth game in Bioshock series has been in development for more than a decade. Okay. Take-Two Interactive is overhauling parts of the next Bioshock game. Narrative is identified as an area that needs improvement. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how I feel about 2K games, but neither here nor there, I suppose. Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough when you're that long in development. So much can change. So much technology can change. There's so many ways for things to go wrong. That then, I mean, like you're really, you're really hitting up against this feeling of at what point is all this money that we've been throwing at this thing actually a sunk cost? And at what point should we actually move on from this? Um, you know, so they're overhauling and they're shaking up the management. Okay. So it's failed review. It's failed publisher review. Wow, interesting. So they're pinning it on the developer, I suppose, is what it is. But okay, not much meat on the bones there. Okay, all right, fine. Good to know though. Let's take a look here. I'm not sure what Contraband is, but Microsoft has stopped development on Contraband. I was not aware. Oh, developers of Just Cause, Avalanche Studios, have been developing this. In 2021, it was announced. Okay, well, that's probably why I didn't hear about it. I don't think I was hip to the beat at this point. An open world co-op game. Okay. Yeah. So this is I don't know, like immediately the thought that comes into my mind is the sometimes you are faced with well, it seems like always really, unless you're actually a clairvoyant that can see 4 to 5 years in the future, you're making a decision on something that you want to make. Uh, if you, depending on how long your development timeline is, let's say that your development timeline is 4 to 5 years, and you're making a decision to make something now, knowing that it will release 4 to 5 years in the future, and there's nothing to say that the thing that you're starting to develop now, that uh, those pillars and those mechanics and those concepts that fall outside of those pillars, or that fall out of those pillars, will be combined in such a way that is appealing to people, or that has any room, 4 to 5 years from now. In other words, you don't know if that genre is going to have space for you 4 to 5 years from now. And that's really what intuitively I think is happening here. But let's see. No comment. It's on hold. Active development has stopped while we evaluate the project's future. Thankful for excitement. Okay. Okay. So no, not much word. There are cuts on the gaming team, so that's another theme here. There's less staff. There's more focus on a fewer number of projects. Um, okay. Anyway, but Microsoft is still enjoying good results. Okay, fine. 20% off GameFall subscriptions. I'd recommend GameFall. GameFall's great. That's a lot of articles I haven't read, and probably won't. Let's see here. What do we have here? Direct to consumer mobile stores. Huh. Take Two had a really great quarter end. I recognize that. I had seen. I think I was tracking their stock ticker or something. They closed really favorably, which was good to see. I like Take Two. GTA 6 makers as well. Okay, so this is an interesting one here. What Unity's Q2 results tell us about the gaming economy and the state of AI for game devs? Unity's CEO. Oh, okay. This is by Dean Takahashi. Dean Takahashi is. Oh, this is GB Max. Okay, that makes sense. That's fine. I don't want to listen to anything out of the Unity CEO. So, I don't know. I'm quite critical of Ubisoft, I guess. And in particular, their executive team and leadership. Okay. I mean, but and yes, their Q2 results would be coming off high because of the Assassin's Creed game that just came out, so that's fine. Good for them. Good for Assassin's Creed. Sony's raising profit outlook, I think. I also was taking a look at Sony's stock as well. That's fine. I mean, it's just a bunch of strong numbers for different consoles and stuff. So I think that's all this is. Let's see. Full year operating profit forecast is up by 4% to $9.9 billion US. Despite tariffs. PS5 is still holding strong. Sony doesn't seem hurt by the strength of Nintendo Switch 2 just as yet. Sales are up 71.6% in quarter one as compared to last year. Wow, that's a significant number. What's driving it? Sales of non-first party game software titles, including add-on content, increase in sale from network services, offset by impact of foreign exchange, whatever. Anyway, increase in non-first party software sales and higher sales from network services. So this is where an interpretation is really needed. I think the thing to do here would be to go to the financial statement, go see what these business lines are defined as, and then kind of see, because when you define something as network services, then it's like, it just seems like in the financial statements it's being defined as that, and something's being grouped under there, which is probably like maybe live service games. But yeah, making that assumption that it would be live service and you know, third party or second party, whatever second party is. God, it's so confusing. Sometimes I feel confused about it. But non-first party software sales, okay. I have to actually go back and look at what was actually released to piece together that. I don't know. I suppose we have Matt Piscatella for that, the US anyway. Okay, so good for Sony. Blue Ocean Games I got caught onto this because the first company that my brother worked for was Blue Castle Games, I think. Blue Ocean Games. It's something else, but okay. All right, whatever. It's fine. It's some fund is being raised. That's interesting. AMD is also hitting limits or beating revenue targets. That seems to be all from here of any interest over the past couple of weeks. Game Business Show is still, as ever, a fantastic resource. While it remains free, who knows what it'll be when it becomes paid. At some point, it will become paid. But they just have so many fantastic interviews with leadership from different video game companies. So this is an interview with CEO Strauss Zelnick from Take-Two. Take-Two, we are looking over our shoulders. We are running scared is the headline on this. Let's see here. So again, Take-Two had a strong quarter. So this is Zynga, which does mobile hits. NBA 2K is doing strong, so that's 2K Games. And then Rockstar's GTA Online. Right. But they're also getting, getting buffeted by Mafia, Borderlands. Oh boy, I'm not too familiar with mobile. GTA. Okay. So mobile business is crushing it. Here's an interesting thing. So Circana has been reporting that U.S. consumers are looking to cut back their entertainment spend. Doesn't look like this is something you're experiencing. And what he says here is the interactive business is not counter-cyclical. It's not even necessarily recession-resistant. In tough times, though, people will still spend money on entertainment. They're going to be more selective, and selectivity will be good for Take-Two because we focus on only the biggest and best hits. And that is where people go. People flock to quality. The strategy for this company has always been make fewer, make better. Today, our goal is always to make the best entertainment experience of any sort that any consumer can purchase. No matter where they are, no matter what device they have, we sometimes fall short, but that's our goal. I think the reason we see great success in our mobile business, the reason why we see great growth in NBA 2K when other sports titles are not seeing growth, is a reflection of quality. That makes sense? Sure. I mean, in a place where we're really spoiled for choice, it makes sense that people will, they'll still spend, but they'll maybe spend a little bit less and they'll choose where they spend. And so, if they were going to buy 2 or 3 games in the year or something, then maybe they'll buy 1. Something like that. That makes sense. Which of course makes it even harder for everybody else. It's like the big guys have their pie, and and that's good for them. But everybody else is kind of trying to survive around the margins, is what it feels like sometimes. Okay. We're seeing a change in in terms of what younger generations are playing and how they're playing. We can see some of that from the impressive numbers that Roblox is delivering. How mindful are you of that? Are you? Should be. How mindful are you of that when it comes to looking further down the road for Take-Two? Says the CEO. We don't believe that success is guaranteed. We're looking over our shoulders. We're running scared. I'm fond of saying that arrogance is the enemy of continued success. We know that in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years, there's going to be an array of big new titles and maybe even some new formats. 3-part strategy is to be the most creative, most innovative, most efficient company. We need to innovate to make sure we continue to be a leader. I'm not sure specifically about what young people want versus any other segment of the population, but I'm sure there's great opportunity if you bring somebody something fantastic and unexpected. That's interesting. I'm not specifically sure about what young people want versus any other segment of the population. I mean, don't your games target specific ages? You know? I wonder if he's just being coy in that, or maybe he just didn't understand the framing of the question. Who knows? Anyway. Okay, and then $80 games. You decided to stick at $70 for Borderlands 4 when there was an expectation that you could go higher. Was now not the time to increase pricing. We've had a variable pricing approach for some time. What? In general, the business consistently offers frontline products at a reasonable price and then discounts over time. Sure. There have been $80 games and I am certain there will be some in the future. We want to deliver more value than the customer pays for. We want to really focus on having an experience where the thing itself is great and what you paid for, it is more than fair. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this. I mean, yeah, I don't know about that interview. Honestly, it just seemed like more like a CEO taking the opportunity to do some advertising more than anything else. I'm not really digging too deep here is the problem. But anyway, at the very least, they do signal that, yeah, we'd love to spend, or we'd love to price this at 80. And eventually, if we can creep it up there in a way that doesn't affect demand too much, then we will do so. I think eventually we will get there, ultimately. I think there's a real threat of the whole thing kind of it's like the industry is self-selecting into different classes of income, really, with the way that all these things are priced, in including consoles and games. But then even what he's saying here about the entertainment industry and about how people are going to buy anyway is kind of like, people do bad things. People do unhealthy things all the damn time. And especially when you don't have any money, you find ways to make money or to get the thing one way or another, whether that requires money or not. And that's, yeah. Anyway, I think they're, I can't remember what game it was, but I remember seeing it somewhere where this game was being offered on sale, but it was being offered with a payment plan. So, if you couldn't afford right now to take that credit card hit, you could split this over 4 equal payments. And I was just like, oh man, that kind of hurts that we're there. That means if that is being offered, then that means that there is enough evidence to support that we should offer payment plans to stimulate some sort of demand from people that may not be able to afford the thing, but really want it to be less miserable. Anyway, okay. Let's see what else is here. We'll wrap up soon with this. Wow, ESA Foundation awards scholarships to 28 university students. That's awesome. That's really good. It's been really worrying to see what's happening with the entry level. So that's good. That's good to hear. It helps ease the burden of educational expenses. Clearly, yeah. So it's like partnership with the industry, help to grow their careers. That's great. Good job, ESA Foundation. Okay. That seems to be just about it from all the businessy stuff. UFO 50 is coming to Switch. Okay, cool. That's cool. I've been playing a little bit more UFO 50, but it's just it's I've been having kind of enough of it. I'm kind of sick of how it sounds at this point. Because it has its own kind of unique sound. And it's that same sound that carries over game to game within the 50. And that makes sense because there's also a narrative that they're telling behind all of that. But yeah. Okay. That seems to be it. Yeah. Maybe that last question about the $80 is being targeted towards GTA, because there's other stuff around here on prices in general. So yeah, anyway, surely that'll be an $80 game. I could see it. You'll just have to adjust your budget. You'll buy one less pack of cigarettes, I guess. I don't know.